3:30 on Fox. Biggest of all the big dogs this week. It is your Oregon Ducks. It is the Utah Utes. Oregon favored by 6.5, 7 points. Depends where you look. My question is, what is the point spread if Oregon punts it away and doesn't give the ball back to Michael Penix at midfield in that Washington game?
Yeah. What is the line? Is what you're saying.
And wins the game.
Because Michael Penix did take the ball and go down the field quite quickly and would have after a punt, I'm positive. But okay, so if Oregon's undefeated in this moment, Cam Rising declared out for the season, I think Utah is down their two best running backs, their two best tight ends, their best defensive end, their best linebacker. They're out a lot of dudes. So if it's 6.5 right now, I don't know, maybe 9 points the rest of the way if it goes the same way for Utah and Oregon after that moment. Yeah, something like that, 8 or 9 points.
Yeah, this line tells us, I think, that if the game were in Eugene, separate from the whole Washington result, if the game were in Eugene, the Ducks are favored by like 10 points.
Yeah,
which is a big number. It was a close game last year, 20-17, when the game was in Eugene. Okay. I saw a clip this week from our friend Yogi Roth at Pac-12 Network.
Yep.
And he compared Utah, I thought, rather aptly to a biker gang.
He's been saying that, yeah.
The biker gang thing, which I love. He's basically saying they roll in and they just sort of take over. I don't fully know what that means.
Okay.
I really don't. But I love the idea of it. Kyle Whittingham certainly has the hair for it. I don't know if he's growing it out. Really thick, strong head of hair now.
Looks great.
That comparison frightens me terribly because I think it's true. So I am worried that my initial read of Oregon minus whatever is going to fall by the wayside here because Utah is just a team that everybody always underestimates and they find a way to win these games.
Well,
or at least keep it close.
They seem to find a way to win these games at home, especially in Salt Lake, at altitude, whatever. And Rice Eccles can be, I don't know, it can be pretty loud and energetic, electric. So the home field thing, speaking of home field, really makes sense in this case. Continue.
Allow me to be the friendly neighborhood Ute hater, though, if I could.
Please.
I think the plain, very obvious truth in this game is that Utah has not scored against average defenses this season.
Right.
What was it, 7 points against Oregon State?
7 points against Utah. I mean, the offense scored 7, and they had a pick 6, yeah.
So, again, like you said, they're down two
Utah,
running backs.
7 points against UCLA, yeah.
7 points, right.
Yeah.
Down 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, wide receiver, a D-end, linebacker, Cam Rising for the season, as you said. They just have to play in such a specific way to win a game like this. I don't think they can play it against Oregon. I don't think they can play it against Oregon. The other thing is the defense. If you look at their numbers, defense has given up a lot of big plays. And they've worked around it thus far, but they can't do that forever. This is not the kind of stat that you can hide from all season long, especially against better teams like Oregon. So I think Oregon wins. I don't feel great about it. I'm not going to bet it, but I think Oregon wins something like 27-17. It's a low-scoring game. Are we going to do the live watch-along for this?
Yeah, I would love to watch it with everybody. If you guys want to come out, I think it'll just be on solidverballive.com, right? At 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. So come on out and watch. Maybe we'll bring in a couple guests and do a watch-along on YouTube. I think that's reasonable to say. The big keys to me that scare me as an Oregon human is Bo Nix and this Oregon offense on the road after showing some struggle in those big moments against Washington, after showing some struggle in the passing game against Texas Tech. Obviously, a slow start against Stanford that they were able to then steamroll the Cardinal as the game wore on. But this hasn't been a machine on the road, and this is going to be their most difficult road battle, if not the most difficult game overall for the rest of the season, considering that USC and Oregon State are both at home in Autzen Stadium. So, no, I think the same things that I've been concerned about with Oregon, I think hold even more true against Utah. It's offensive line penalties. You can't turn 2nd and 8s into 2nd and 13s. It's going to be Bo Nix hitting open receivers and seeing open receivers on 3rd and 6, on 4th and 2, whatever, because I think those guys have been there. It's Will Stein calling the plays, calling executable, obvious 2-yard conversion plays in those 4th and 1 moments. That you have to have that arsenal of Excelsior. That's what I call my never fail package.
Never fail package. Yeah.
And then defensively, it's just guys making plays on the edge. I was talking to our friend Jeff Schwartz about it, and he was like, this is, Sione Vaki has energized this Utah offense, but USC played this team terribly. USC's front is small, and they tackle poorly, and they take bad lanes, and they get out of position. I think Oregon's a much more talented and much better coached defense. And so if Oregon's able to set an edge here, they should be able to get off the field on defense, because I'm not terribly worried about the secondary being gashed. And I'm not terribly worried about Utah doing something over and over successfully for 4 quarters, because Oregon has adjusted really well at halftime. We saw it against Washington. We saw it against Wazoo on defense. So I have Oregon winning relatively close, because I still think to win in Salt Lake City is just such a tall task. And, I never like picking against spread-wise a good defense at home as an underdog. So I have this as Utah covering, Oregon winning 23-17 Ducks.